Zia Qureshi, Chief Executive Officer of Catalyst. Zia brings a wealth of experience as an Australian and global business leader, leading transformations of businesses, large and small, right through this region and around the world. He's worked with very eminent and large organisations, including Woolworths, Qantas, BHP, Origin Energy, and others. He's led as chairman the Australia-China electricity industry through a collaboration venture. He led a landmark project to develop China's sourcing strategy to secure supply of mineral resources, and he's been commended for his work by both Chinese and Australian political leaders. So, Zia, thank you for joining us.
So we've had a lot of thinking time to do around topics like the dumping of Australian wine, the tensions between US and organisations such as Huawei, which has since also had a domino effect globally in many other economies, including Australia, with Huawei now a fraction of its size in Australia. So we have seen implications of these sorts of actions. We've seen political chatter, which is really not making doing business easier. It's actually doing business easier. It's actually probably making it harder. And so we thought a lot about this topic of business communications. Symbolically, are we going backwards in terms of letting all of that noise and fake news, as Senator Sinodinos and Zia mentioned to us 12 months ago, getting in the way of really delivering value and solving wicked problems? And, you know, I think that what we're trying to do is have a group discussion with all of you, some dialogue through these risk forums in 2021. Well, I'll end the slideshow there, and it's now a great pleasure for me to stand to one side and hear just some remarks from Zia over the next 10 minutes and whet our appetite for what he'll be talking about within himself. So over to you, Zia. I'll stand aside.
Thank you, Andrew. It's always a great pleasure to be here at CPA Risk DG sessions. You guys really do a tremendously good job. Darren also. Hello, Darren. How are you today? Look.
Zia, how are you going?
Good. I'm good. Look, I was just recently talking to Senator Arthur Sinodinos, who, of course, is now sitting as U.S. ambassador, and we were doing a bit of a Zoom call. And one of the things he fondly remembered was this our joint session that we did last year, almost 12 months ago. And he kept reflecting on some of the thoughts and ideas and discussions that generated, and how right and spot on we were. Look, you know, I think there is no more important topic for Australia than the China relationship. Absolutely our number one business and trading partner, a country that's on a rise, going from strength to strength, undertaking one belt, one road type initiative. They're changing the whole structure of the world trade. And you know, we are so lucky to be their number one trading partner. We have a deep relationship with China. I do not actually buy this thing about, well, relationship is sour and it'll fall apart, etc. It won't. The foundation of this relationships, which particularly were laid by John Howard as the Prime Minister, were extremely strong. I was part of that team. I was fortunate to be part of that team, and we went and you know, extended our hand of friendship. China was reluctant about Australia. That's not a secret. But we went and added so much value. We made contribution on so many fronts. The one that I led was electricity industry, particularly in transmission areas, etc. On 4 successive meetings between the heads of states, China has thanked us for all that work that the whole of Australian industry did for China, because electricity generation, transmission was one of the biggest challenges at the time. So both sides have a very strong business-to-business relationship. Our relationship with China is actually business-oriented. And my theme now is for this year that we should move away from this kind of political dialogue and really take the ownership of this relationship between B2B, because it's all about business. And so the business leaders have to stand up. And this whole relationship was developed and cemented. Business people like myself, Warwick Smith, and many others, yes, and Arthur Sinadinos, John Howard. I mean, the whole regime that Australia had at the time played an instrumental role in knowing very well that this is the century of Asia, or Asian century. And the biggest player in that century, in that theme again, is China. So the overall relationship with the entire Asia is very important. We are not going to be able to succeed in making strong relationship with Asia if we don't have a strong relationship with China. All the opportunities are in China, the way the things are going. And this is very, very important to realize. I hear what people say about too much dependence on one country. I hear concerns about not developing our own industries, and they are very valid concerns. But who can help us most in meeting some of those challenges? We should be a manufacturing country as well. There are so many new technologies coming up, electric cars, so on and so forth, solar technology, that Australia is really, really well positioned, because none of these things are labor intensive anymore. It's all technology. And China is leapfrogging in technology, leading up with initiatives like joint ventures on manufacturing. I mean, you can't have a better manufacturing partner that runs an amazingly advanced technological manufacturing of the world kind of stuff. We were so well positioned to start partnering with them here in Australian ground in a range of areas. So I think this is extremely important. We have seen the short-term decline in terms of what's happening in our mining industry. These are some of the risks that we face. We talked about them in the past. Look, mining industry is suffering, education industry is suffering needlessly. The wines industry and the potential. So not only we sort of been cut off a bit, but the potential is far greater. And yet, diversification is important, but diversification is not going to fill the gap if China really, remains on the back foot in terms of coming forward. But I think, if business-to-business relationship starts to take hold of it, and collaborations happen, joint venture starts to happen, there's enormous potential. And I can actually see I'm involved in a number of things at the moment, at least 2 or 3 major ventures where Australian Chinese companies or people are actually collaborating in developing, ranging from, the BYD, electric forklifts, electric cars, to some tourism infrastructure facilities, resorts, etc. And so the potential is absolutely quite amazing. And so my view really is that if we don't really stand up and take this challenge of business to business relationship, we will go backwards. And it's not going to be easy to replace any of these gaps that would be created. And absolutely, there is no reason why that should be the case. And, we need to keep reminding ourselves that we have invested a great deal in building this relationship. I think I'll just leave it to that. the focus has got to be now business to business, and there's a lot of value for both sides that we can actually capture. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew.
Well, thank you very much, Zia. We have a bit of a tradition established over the last 10 years, and it's just a token of our appreciation. This was, I'm really standing in for Helen, who was who usually is much better at presenting this. So, Zia, on behalf of the Risk Group, we really thank you for coming back and supporting us,
Thank you, Andy.
this group. We know that you're also pulling together a number of interesting speakers for us. So the next event is on the 25th of March, and it will be here in Sydney, and we can take up to 40 guests. This recording is really a teaser of some of the things that we're thinking about, and I think you're going to confirm the other panel speakers,
yes, absolutely,
over the coming days.
I think, Andy, there's some tremendously fantastic speakers who I think have enormous hands-on personal experience and have already made tremendous contribution. And I think they really need to come and in the public light and really share their views and thoughts in terms of taking this relationship forward.
All right. Well, so where to from here? So 25th of March, Darren, Helen, the Governance Institute will be marketing this event. There will be a registration system available that can be accessed through CPA, which will automatically assign the first people that register their preference of face-to-face or online. Join us. Thank you very much, and good night from Sydney. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Zia, for